Okay, we got Dr. Robert Malone, hot off the Joe Rogan press, here to talk about what it was like being on the Rogan show. But first, the reason I think that you were on, at least just recently, you were suspended from Twitter, despite the fact you're the inventor of mRNA vaccine technology, but apparently, sorry, you're not good enough to tweet. So why don't you tell us first, Dr. Malone, what happened? And then I want to ask you all about Rogan.
I guess I had too much to think, so the thought police had to take me off. So the thanks, Allison. Good to see you too. I guess we're both traveling now. So what happened with Twitter?
Yes.
The answer is they cut me off, and they didn't. They gave no warning. They gave no explanation. To the extent that we have any explanation, it's because I was spreading misinformation that would cause vaccine hesitancy. So that's the justification that we were given, to the extent that we were given any.
Okay. Did they say there was something that you recently did that? No.
That I've told you everything I know.
Okay, so you don't know if it was the last tweet you sent was just over the line.
The last tweet that I sent, so I put out two. One was a interview with David Martin, and one was a Substack that you guys can find on my Substack listing at RW Malone MD Substack, and that had to do with this excellent video that the Canadian COVID Care Alliance has put out that summarizes the fraud and data misrepresentations associated with the Pfizer vaccine clinical trials. So that might have been the sin. It is a superb video. It accurately summarizes all of the data issues that I'm aware of, and does so in a very clear voice, in a way that's very easy for people to understand. So that might have been the sin, is speaking the truth about the malfeasance and data manipulation that's gone on with Pfizer and the FDA.
How does it feel to be somebody who played a significant role in the invention of the technology for the very vaccines that you have now been suspended from social media for discussing?
So the feeling question,
you don't want to tell me how you feel like in your heart. I just mean, like, what is that like? Like what is it like to be? Is it just surreal, or did you expect it?
Yes.
Okay.
So I have a really, really good media expert that coaches me. He wants to stay below the scenes, but he runs a $150 million company, and he's had multiple media successes before, so he's not a poor man. And he on a podcast with our group, the International Alliance of Physicians and Medical Scientists, just 2 days ago, predicted that we were all going to get kicked off of Twitter. In my case, I've been shadow banned on Twitter for a very long time. I had built up to 517,000 followers, but many of them were constantly writing to me saying, Twitter won't let me see your tweets unless I specifically, look you up. Mm-hmm. So the shadow banning has been going on for a long time, and everybody is getting kicked off. Alex Berenson, of course, and now he has a lawsuit against Twitter. But we knew this was going to happen when Jack stepped down as CEO. And in fact, he was banned briefly from his own platform, from Twitter, by the new CEO or his handlers for putting out a tweet to the effect that the World Wide Web 3 that is supposed to be blockchain protected would just end up owned by the same corporate people that are owning everything else. So it's not unique. It's a sign of our times. It did cause my Substack subscriptions to explode. So that's could be worse. And we had already anticipated this would happen at some point. And so we'd migrated to Getter as well as Substack. So, we were prepared, anticipating it, and it was kind of inevitable. So for me, it doesn't, it's not a big deal, frankly. It's kind of expected. It's a sign of the times. It's happening to all of us, and people should wake up and realize that that what we're dealing with is the debate tactic of no true Scotsman. That may seem a little esoteric, but it's all scientists agree on what Tony Fauci says. I don't agree. Well, then you're not a scientist. Bye. That's the strategy. So.
Right. Yeah. There was a young journalist I was kind of going back and forth with on Twitter, and she was of the mindset that doctors and scientists say blank, right? It's just like every doctor and every scientist says blank. We didn't get very far in our conversation because she blocked me when I suggested we talk about how that's not necessarily the case. But I just want to talk about media, really, because I think in both your world and my world, I think it's the same kind of, I don't know, call it a psychosis or what, where, like you said, there's a right way of thinking and a wrong way of thinking. And for whatever reason, asking questions and thinking outside the line right now is a grave offense and really puts you in a camp of heretic, really beyond saving. I'm curious. I know that with you, one of the ad hominems that I see is, well, he didn't invent mRNA vaccines, or he didn't invent mRNA technology. It was a lot of people who played a role in it. And I think kind of that's used, maybe if I'm guessing correctly, to discredit your background or your contributions to it. Do you think that's used when these people make the decision to get rid of you from social media, where they're like, well, he's not like the guy, the only guy, there are other people, because it just seems so odd.
Yeah. Of course it is. So, Allison, to that point, I was responding to a journalist about this, and he asked for a list of the patents, and there's 10 patents directly relevant. I think that's about 8 more than have issued to Carrico and Weissman, maybe 9 more. They all were filed, almost all of them filed on March of 1989. My name is on all of them. So this whole thread is a it's clearly an effort to gaslight me and to depersonalize me and to delegitimize me, as you say. But the data are the data, and I have the confidence of knowing that my colleagues at the Karolinska are very aware of what I did, and have already reviewed what Carrico and Weissman did, which is not enabling. I like to say, just because the 737 MAX was designed by Boeing engineers, it doesn't mean that the Wright brothers didn't invent the powered air flight. It's a very contrived argument, and it stems from the fact that there was a concerted media push to try to get the Nobel Prize for Carrico and Weissman. And that is what was behind all of this, including the Wikipedia edits, was a clear and explicit push to get them the Nobel, because that would further legitimize the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I want to ask you real fast about Rogan, and then I want to get to some questions from my locals community. I should say, if you're watching this later on YouTube, you are watching a safe clip of Dr. Malone. So if you would like to see everything he had to say about getting kicked off Twitter, what it was like on Rogan, and answering all kinds of questions about the vaccine technology, you have to go to my other platforms. The best place to go is alsamara.locals.com, where you can submit questions for people like him, and then I give your questions directly to him. Also, Dr. Malone, we should say that you're not necessarily drinking the wine that I promote, but if you
this is honest truth. My favorite wine has become High Altitude Malbec Red.
Oh, sure. Really?
I love it.
So are you going to AllisonWinePromo.com, or are you going somewhere else?
I haven't, but it keeps turning up. This wine is fantastic. And I'm not joking. Every time I see it in the lineup, and me and other people too, they're like, oh, that's the one I want.
I gotta say, it has a very robust flavor to it that I don't think you find in, at least even if it's not necessarily a high altitude from Argentina, but it's a high altitude wine. I do think it makes a difference. So yes, if you would like 50% off my favorite high altitude Malbecs from Argentina and 50% off shipping, I know the holidays are over, but it's a great way to start off the new year with a high altitude wine. And I also do high altitude coffee. If you just want to live in the clouds, wherever you're drinking and whatever you're drinking, twinenginecoffee.com/Allison, twinenginecoffee.com/Allison. These are USDA certified organic Nicaraguan roasts. The CEO and founder of the company lives right there where they grow, harvest, and roast the beans. So they are a small family owned business and love what they do. And the coffee's great. And they also make a Katura tea, which I really like, which is coffee fruit that you make tea out of. I cold brew mine for 24 hours. Have you ever had that, Dr. Malone? Katura tea?
I haven't. I'm going to have to get some.
I really do enjoy it. It was the first time I'd ever had it was when I started working with Twin Engine Coffee, and it's very good. Okay. So let's talk about Rogan. First off, what's it like when you walk in? Is it like a palace? Describe what it's like. I know it's not as impressive as being on my podcast, but without being too mean to him, what was it like?
So it's a kind of a strip mall or corporate complex office complex here in suddenly I'm blanking. Austin, Texas. Thank you.
Yeah.
And it was actually a 15-minute walk from the Marriott here that I'm staying at. So it's just a nondescript, no signs out front, locked door. We had to call to gain entrance.
Does he have security? You don't have to tell.
Absolutely. High-end security. It's they have a large space there that they've leased, and the studio is in the back, kind of in a corner. We had to have viral testing on entry before he came, so everybody got their tests. It's kind of an open space in the lobby. I think I sent you a couple pictures of me.
Mm-hmm.
And I rarely take selfies with somebody else, but Joe Rogan. What are you gonna say? So Joe Rogan and Snoop the dog. There he is. Yep.
There you go.
That's Snoop the dog. He's now famous. And just a kind of a casual, laid back environment. And his studio is just a big open box with a table in the middle and various signage. Fascinating lighting up above, looks like twinkling stars,
Mm-hmm.
and overhead lighting. And then, as you know from watching his show, the open mics with on booms. He uses mics on booms, not a lav.
Oh, okay.
And so we don't have to mic up or anything. Really comfortable chairs. Peter McCullough did that one before me that hit 40 million. And
wow.
Peter warned me that I better go to the bathroom beforehand because it shot continuous. It ran for about 3 hours 15. Matter of fact, I think maybe the reason why it stopped is because Joe had to go take a leak.
Okay.
He is just, as you know, sharp as a whip, but with his feet on the ground. Knows all the issues. Was just he's a fantastic interviewer. It was very relaxed, casual, interactive, in the moment. What more could you ask for with an interviewer?